today's live stream. I am celebrating you for coming and watching this, whether you're joining live, whether you're joining on the replay, whether you're viewing it through my LinkedIn profile, or whether you're viewing it through YouTube. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming. So this week we're talking about cultivating your current career. So why are we even speaking about this? Well, there's a lot of talk about lots of talent migration and people moving around, and it doesn't actually have to be that way. So, if you are watching and you want to say hello, feel free to post a comment in the comment box. What I would invite you to do actually, if you are watching live, is to hop over to YouTube, because that's where I am, and that's where I'll be able to more easily see your comments and actually interact with you as we go through. Now, just so that you know, my policy is that when you ask a question, share a comment, I will say hello back, but I won't kind of like flash you up on the screen unless, well, not you, or your comment up on the screen, unless you specifically ask, because I realise what a sensitive topic career building can be. I know that some of you are looking to enhance your current career. To be honest, you don't want the hassle of having to restructure your CV to go out and have a look for positions, or to even change away from a culture that you enjoy. In fact, most of the people that I work with tell me that they want to do an even better job where they are. Sometimes they feel like there's this kind of weird scenario where they want to put themselves out there more, but they might worry or think that the company or the organization or the firm isn't as receptive to it, as them being really kind of like promoted or seen as possible. So what are we going to cover today? I wrote it down because, of course, once I go live, I can't see it anymore. So what are we going to cover today? Well, I'm going to make it a bit bigger so I'm not squinting and pulling faces at you. If you've ever wondered how the most ambitious employed professionals, or even the best business owners, put themselves out there and cultivate their own careers, I'll share a couple of different techniques as we go through this live stream. You might be that ambitious employed professional. You might be at the top of the rung of the ladder, or you might be very close to being where you want to be. You might have set your sights on career progression in a serious way. Or you might be the sort of business that does business with other kind of founders and people like that, and you want to know the best way to put yourself out there. So neither of these are mutually exclusive, but I want to really focus on cultivating your current career. So this isn't about, like I say, filling out application forms, CVs, interview techniques, although depending on what you're going for internally, you might need to sharpen those skills as well. This is predominantly, I'm going to cover 3 specific topics, although I could cover lots. On this stream, I'm going to cover navigating your different career scenarios. I'm going to help you with knowing what to say for professional opportunities. I'm going to let you know the types of non-negotiables that people who are really ambitious and driven, what's current at the moment, some insights into that. I do get to hear a lot of different opinions with the various different people that I work with. So I want to be able to share some insights, not necessarily their details, but some insights on what that might be. If you're not already, join me over on YouTube, so I can react. If you're looking or watching this on LinkedIn, I'm not actually going to be on LinkedIn again until September. So I don't like keeping people waiting. So if you do, want to comment or share anything, do join me over there. So there's so many things to say. The first thing I do need to say, so that I don't forget, obviously this is a short live stream and I will share nuggets. And the reason I do it is because in my head, in my diary, in my world, it's Tuesday tip day. It's the day that I encourage anyone who's in my audience, any of my vibers, anybody who's looking to be more visible, to share a tip. Why? No specific reason, only it's easy to remember. Tuesday is a day to share a tip. It means that you can show up consistently, you can do things regularly, and every Tuesday is a reminder, oh, I haven't done it yet. This is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to share some tips on here. But what I'm also going to let you know about, if you subscribe to my channel, it probably makes it easier here on YouTube. You will see that on the 9th of 9th of September, all day, I'm going to be hosting something to help you to optimize your career. It's completely free. And even if you can't attend the whole day, you might want to join in and jump in for a lunch and learn segment, or you might want to sort of tap into the segments that you can. The replays will be available throughout the weekend up until close of play on Monday. After that, they will disappear. Why am I doing that? Because myself and my two very special guests are going to be sharing some really great nuggets. You will need pen and paper. You will need to scribble down and take notes. And if you want to re-watch again over the weekend, we're going to be sharing lots of different things that you can do to really, it might be to kickstart your career, enhance your career, but all sorts of really juicy things. Now, let me think off the top of my head. We're going to start off with how best to use the day. Now, this is important because quite often the only place that anyone can get good career advice, if you like, is from speaking to a friend who might not really, they might offer some insights, but not really know how it's done, or by speaking to the actual organisation, the HR department yourself. By the way, if you're an HR director or in the HR department and want me to come in and deliver some lunch and learns, please do get in contact. I do that on a frequent basis. And I love going into companies and helping them to retain really great talent so their people perform better. Yes, they'll be more visible in the organisation, even in the industry, but they're happier because they're being developed and they can see their career progressing in a way that they want, which is a win for you as a company and a win for them. So this is why I'm putting this on. So we're going to be covering things like beating burnout, how to make an impact. We're going to be talking about a plan, how to put a plan together for yourself. And we're actually going to work through that throughout the day. We're going to be talking about leveraging LinkedIn as an employee so that you can put yourself out there more, so that you can really enhance the career that you have. What else are we going to be talking about? Oh, we're going to be talking about what to do if you are towards the end of a specific career and you're thinking, wow, I'd like to have a side business, or I'd like to do something on the side. I'm just going to make sure I'm still broadcasting because I just got a flash to say my connection is unstable. Oh, that's no good. Yes, it's skipping. It's skipping. Hopefully you can hear that. If not, then post a comment below on the replay, and I will aim to repeat what I've just been saying. I'm just going to check on today. Oh, and YouTube. I'll turn my volume down. Yes, only time will tell when I look at the replay whether that's whether you heard that or not. But yeah, put the date in your diary, pencil it in, 9th from 9 a.m. UK all the way through to 7 p.m. UK, and just check whichever time zone you're in. One of my lovely guests, the lovely Cassandra Austin McDonald, will be dialing in from Switzerland, from the US. And the lovely Anita Belitz will be dialing in from Switzerland. So you're going to have access to some really, really great resources and great stuff. So all of that to say, let's skip on to today's content. So what am I going to be sharing with you today? So I'm going to share 3 tips today to help you to cultivate that career. And I'm going to open up a different screen so I'm not staring at myself. I find it very distracting. I notice pieces of hair sticking out and I want to play with them, which is fun for me, but not so fun for you. So proudly cleaning up my award, which you can't see because it's glass. I should put something dark like my face behind it. This is my Mentor of the Year award that I was awarded from the Institute of Travel and Tourism. It was presented to me last month at the House of Commons. Really, really prestigious. I need to get a better stand for it so it can stand up. And I can display it behind me here, but instead you're getting sight of the box. Why do I share that with you? I share it with you because I take this work very seriously. So I've just wobbled my whole computer. I take this work very seriously. I take you very seriously, and I want to be able to help you to really use your own or tap into your own visibility gold so that you can be seen by the people that you want to be seen. So the first thing is, how do people that are looking at cultivating their current career, how do they navigate the different career scenarios? You know, the sort of scenarios that have you wonder, like, am I doing the right thing? Should I go for this thing? Should I go forward, sideways, backwards, you know, whichever direction it is? You kind of scratch in your head and not sure. Or maybe you have assumed that you're going to be promoted in some way and then realized, actually, I'm not going to be promoted. What's going on, you know? Or maybe you've got wind that somebody else is in the running. That kind of scenario, you're not sure what to do. So the first thing, the first tip that I want to share, and these are going to kind of like map into each other, especially for the employed professional, it's all about knowing when to say yes and when to say no. Now, a lot of professionals that I get to kind of coach and work with privately and mentor privately, by the time they've got to their definite yes or no, it's so far down the process, if you like, that it feels almost pressurized. So let's start with you as you know, an employed professional, an empowered professional, is knowing when to say yes and when to say no. Now, this is actually much more simple than it seems. And it's a bit of a mindset shift in at that it's ways to think differently. So it's knowing up front what you're going to say yes to and what you're going to say no to. This is not too dissimilar when I'm working with sales teams and teaching them sales techniques. I don't do tricks or hacks. I do genuine things that will help them with the sale and sell more confidently and comfortably. But one of the things that you want, whether you feel like you're having or previously been having to persuade people or sell something, an idea, a concept, is making sure that the person on the other end of that gets to like a yes or a no. You know, as a really great mentor of mine used to teach in their program, there's that kind of sludge of the indecision. Think about this for a minute. Think about a time, it doesn't matter how random it seems, think about a time where you did something and you were like so 150% yes, you could feel it in your body. It was like a visceral thing, you could feel it. And whatever that scenario is, just grab a piece of paper and write down a word, just one word that will remind you of that yes. It might be the word yes, but write it down. It's that definite feeling. You know it, you feel it from the bottom of your shoes to the top of your head. It's like, I feel that. And then think of another time when you like, and how it feels for you when it's a no. No way. Now, here's what's interesting about this. A majority of the conversations that I have, people will feel the no, sometimes just as strongly as they felt the yes. But instead of honoring that, they'll say, oh, but it makes good sense and perhaps I should do it. Maybe I should try it for a few years and then see, look good on my CV is something else that people say. And my thought behind this is why put so much tension and focus to something that doesn't feel great when you could be putting that yes energy into the thing that you know is right. I'm not talking about guesswork here at the moment. I'm talking about that thing you know is right. So knowing when to say yes and knowing when to say no are equally as important. And the reason that I share this is, and I'll be talking more about this on the career day, I had somebody approach me once and they said, oh, Jenny, I need some help with a work scenario. I got this job. I've been doing it for a number of years. And as time has progressed, I've taken on this thing and this thing and this thing. And before they knew it, they've taken on another role, actually a much more senior role. And at some point, they would have actually been able to serve the organization, to serve the people and the team that they're in, and to serve themselves in a win-win-win situation, actually by saying no. Now, that no could be a no, but here's where my yes is. Okay, takes a lot more explanation, but that's a kind of way of just distilling it down. So the art of saying no isn't about being aggressive, isn't about being assertive, isn't about being a pain, isn't about trying to negotiate. It's knowing when something feels like a good, strong yes or a good, strong no. It really is as simple as that. It really is. So, and if you wonder why I keep looking down here, I've now got my phone on silent because I'm worried that I'm going to have dropped off and not know about it. So that's the first thing. When you need to navigate career scenarios, it's really, really important that you know whether you're a firm yes or a firm no. If you're in the middle of it and you're not sure, then there's more work to do. So I'm just going to pop that so it's in the notes there, and I'm going to just show it on the screen. So when you're cultivating your current career, the importance of vision comes in a moment, but navigating your career scenarios are an important part of being, an employed professional, an ambitious professional. This helps you to know where to navigate, where to go next. Now, if you're watching this and you're a founder or a business owner and you're thinking, well, how does this affect me? It's pretty much the same. Knowing your firm yeses and your firm no's helps you to navigate in kind of like which steps to take next. As an example, I once worked with a client who stifled their ability to grow, and this was specifically in their own business, because they kept saying yes to things that they didn't really want to do, and they knew it was a no, but they felt awkward or some way or unprofessional in turning it down or saying no. What this meant was their business and their career and their life was filled with things that they didn't want to do. Therefore, the things that they wanted to do felt really unobtainable. If you think about it in this way, whether you're an ambitious professional, whether you're a business owner and a brilliant business owner, it's a promise that you break to yourself. And this is the single most reason why the next time you want to do something, you'll feel a tinge of imposter syndrome. You'll feel a tinge of imposter syndrome because you'll remember that you broke a promise to yourself, but you won't remember it like that. You'll just remember that, oh, I've tried this before and it didn't work out. It wasn't good enough. I wasn't good enough. I needed more courage, more confidence, and all of the reasons that you'll put around this thing. So knowing when to say yes or no is of paramount importance. And in fact, there is, hey, Ian, in fact, there is a segment in the career day that we're having on the 9th of September. And in that segment, in that session, I've got a special guest who's going to be talking about the importance of like self-care as a busy professional so that you kind of know your boundaries. So for now, knowing when to say yes, knowing when to say no, super, super important. But how do you know what to say yes to and what to say no to? People will say, Jenny, you don't understand my company. It's very different. The culture's like this. Or, they're really great, but, or they'll say, yeah, but it doesn't really work like that in my industry. And trust me, I've worked with so many industries over the last 12 years and before that, that I have a really good handle and frequently know how things work, whether it's public sector, private sector, whether it's financial services, travel, whether it's tech, whether it's, marketing. I have got a really, really great grasp on how things are working, not 20 years ago, but currently. So, Ian's saying hello. We'll have to watch from the start. No problem, Ian. You feel free to hop over on YouTube if you can, by all means, because I'm not responding to anything on LinkedIn at the moment. Until September. I'm back in September. Feels weird to say that, but really cool. And doing lots of juicy things in the meantime. But I'm just verbally saying hello, hello, hello. So the second thing, so how do you know what to say yes to, what to say no to? It's different in my industry. You don't know what my company's like. You don't know what my boss is like. You don't know what my team are like. They're all lazy. They're all millennials. They're all baby boomers. They're a mixture of each. They do this. I've heard everything, like everything. In fact, I challenge people that I work with, like they say, this is going to sound really weird, and I'm like, stop, before you tell me it, make it really weird. It's got to be really, really weird. Otherwise you don't win the weird competition. So when you're not sure where to say yes or no to, it's likely because especially in your career, whether you're, as I say, self-employed or an ambitious employee, an ambitious professional, it's likely that you've never mapped out your non-negotiables. Like, people say, what do you stand for and things like that? And that's a part of the non-negotiables, but it's things like your working hours. Let me give you an example from my life. Before I had my business, I had been known in a 9 to 5 job to rock up in the morning at 6 o'clock where it was nice and quiet, that way, nice and quiet, so I could get stuff done before the phone started ringing, the email started pinging, the team started to arrive, the directors would want me to maybe sit in a meeting before my meeting started, which was all well and good, but I was stretching out my 9 to 5 to like 6 a.m. and had been known, I won't tell you the latest time, but had been known to be leaving the building in the evening. So pulling really long days. Now, it took me, I just thought I was being a good employee. I was giving it everything that I had, that I was being professional. I was getting my work done, when in fact, I guess I was overwhelmed. Luckily for me, my design is that I'm like an engine and I will just keep generating energy. I'm one of the few people that very rarely get burnt out. But because of that, doesn't mean that I should keep going and be burnt out. So one of the bad habits I took into my business and actually into other areas of my life was that I would do that same overworking pattern. And when I get to work with people closely, I can have a look at their business life, their work life, their home life, and all the different pieces, health, fitness, everything. I can look at it holistically so that I can see like where they are actually bringing it into other areas. Now, for me, it took me starting a business and doing the same behaviors where I just thought, you know what? This isn't going to work. My friends are going to fall out with me. My family are going to fall out with me. My partner's not going to enjoy, being anywhere near me if all I can do is put my head at work, in work. So in order for me to know when to say yes and know when to say no, I had to do this second tip. And that's, I had to have my non-negotiables. So I'm going to just pop that up on the screen. Let me just So I keep leaving the question mark at the end. Know what to say to professional opportunities? Yes, you might say yes or no, but if you're not sure how to say that yes or no, it's likely that you've never actually taken not even a moment to look at your non-negotiables. And whilst it takes a few minutes initially, you need to have a look at the ripple effect that it puts out into your life. So imagine if you start in work every day at 6 in the morning, and business owners do this a lot as well because they've got so much to do and they're spinning lots of plates. But if you're starting at 6 in the morning and finishing at 9 o'clock at night, you haven't put a non-negotiable in place because somebody somewhere is going to upset the apple cart. So when you're looking at cultivating your current career and you're an employee and you're ambitious and you're looking for career progression, you're looking to do an even better job of the thing that you're doing, and you're not really looking around at leaving or moving, you don't have a perception that the company can't help you, you've come to the end of the road there. When you have your non-negotiables, it means that you can understand what you want to experience. You get to understand what you want to experience, how you want to experience it, and you get to really understand how to make a difference so that you do say your yes or your no. So it's really, really important to know what you stand for, where you're going to draw the line, and in a way, which boundaries you're going to put in place. Now, the most savvy professionals have got this nailed. You know, I've worked with some of the highest performing salespeople and sales teams, some of the best and well-known brands who have got brilliant customer services teams, and there is autonomy throughout the organization to have good boundaries. Put another way, I talk a lot about frameworks. You know, when I'm teaching stuff like the 5 pillars, I like them to be frameworks that you can hang your hat on. And the reason for that is it allows the flexibility to make the thing work, in this case, your non-negotiables, but it also gives a structure that allows you to have freedom. So for that reason, I say there's freedom in the framework each and every time. So it's interesting because I see one of the comments there, used to hate leaving an hour before I should and be arriving, not good for health. It isn't. And there's a guilt that I see amongst parents as well, where, you know, again, in a, recent coaching conversation, in this case, it was a mother who was expressing the guilt of where I was before, this happened and this happened, where I am now, no one else has kids, and when my kids are ill, I feel really bad. And I kind of had to remind them, think about the people that you work with, think about the senior managers. How many of them have expressed a disdain, at you having to finish your work on time because you had other commitments? And this company, I wish I could name them because they're such a cool company, but the answer was no. So there's how we feel within ourselves when we're doing something or not doing something we perceive should be accepted everywhere else. These are part of your non-negotiables. It actually spreads far and wide. It's not just about what you do in your workspace, in your career. It's kind of what is on the fringes of that. Family time, friend time, downtime, mental health time, mindset time. I recently was speaking to somebody through a business development call, and we were talking about the nuances between mindset and mental health and how people are banding that together. And I don't think that's a fair thing to do. If, for example, you think mindset might give you the staying power, the tenacity, when you start having conversations about mental health, it's a completely different conversation. Mental health is not about pushing through, is not about tenacity. There is maintaining your mental health, and there is fixing and I would say healing mental health as well. So I think it's a really important thing to do, to know what your non-negotiables are, what your frameworks are, what your boundaries are, so that you can then, case in point for point one, know when to say yes and when to say no. Really, really important. So you're saying, well, I know when to say yes or when to say no. Now I've got my non-negotiables. I'm just going to make sure I can read my writing and that I've said everything I needed to say there. Yeah, because you understand from experience, and you've also lived them, defined them, So now you've defined your non-negotiables. Now you know what your expectations are. You understand your own expectations and you've mapped them out so that when you're busy, you don't forget. Well, how would you do that? Yeah, you can see how that allows you to know when to say yes or no, but then how does it, impact on vision? And for the last time, I am going to put the title, because this is called Cultivate Your Current Career, and it's the importance of vision. Okay. So how do you do that? How do you do that? Let me take the rest of that off the screen. How do you do that? Oh, I need to hide that, don't I? How do you cultivate your current career and include vision? And why, what is vision? Why would I include it? And how does that impact on my non-negotiables and my yes? So let's start off with what it isn't. A vision isn't something warm and fuzzy that you put down to impress people. A vision is something that is it's more than a want. It's like a deep desire. It's a vision that is made for you. It's not a vision that you put together. Oh, I want my team to be successful and sell the most and da 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 da. It's a vision for you, whether it's the team leader, whether you're the director, whether you're the founder, whether you are the post room person, whether you are on the sales team, the customer service team, the leadership team, whether you're in the HR team, whether you're responsible for developing people and talent, whether you are the person that sits in IT, wherever you are, your vision needs to be specifically and ultimately for you. Okay, this is the importance of the vision. And those visions, although independent and separate, will come together so that they can form like a more magical making organization. This is important. So taking time out to define that vision is important. And this doesn't get done enough. In fact, in my experience, from what I've seen and what I've also experienced, many people will wait until it's time coming up for the 360-degree feedback, and they'll wear a suit into work, for the month before, and they'll be nice to people and not bite anyone's head off, and they'll bring in cakes on a Friday and they'll butter people up. But that's just temporary behavior. That's not cultivating a vision. So a bit like when you're setting business objectives and goals, there's some great structures to follow. Although there's the SMART goal setting, I don't actually subscribe to each and every one of those points. I found that the realistic part of it on the SMART framework is the piece that trips people up. When somebody hasn't done something before, or hasn't achieved the results before, or haven't worked through a recessive period before, that realistic means they often second guess themselves, infuse it with doubt, don't know what's possible, limit themselves to what's possible instead of opening themselves up. So there's a different kind of process that I tend to take my people through, which goes over 5 steps, but it's actually more self-empowering. This helps them to open up more of the vision of what their role entails from where they're at. They're not trying to impress or digress or anything else like that. So when you have that strong vision, and you can go back and revisit the vision and tweak it and change it as your role grows, as the company grows, as things change, as organizational change happens. once you've got that strong vision, then it allows you to see what the negotiables are and the non-negotiables are. It helps you to understand from experience, and it has you define exactly what they are in alignment with your vision. And then because you've got an aligned vision, you know, that everyone's on board with, that you've got your non-negotiables mapped out, so you know exactly, you know, where you stand and what you will do and won't do, then it allows you to know when to say yes, when to say no. And like I say, if you're in between, attached to that vision, you're able then to set something and move that forward. So that's how it all kind of like tacks into each other. And as I say, when we have our day on the 9th of September, please do like put it in your diary, or if you're working that day and you want to catch up on the Saturday or even the Sunday, you know, do mark some time out to have a look, because the whole day is going to be filled with lots of juicy gems and nuggets, not too dissimilar to this session that we've just had here, but are really designed to take your career to the next level and to optimize your career opportunities. Again, this isn't about scrambling around looking for jobs, filling out CVs, being the best interviewer, knowing how to pitch yourself. These are about actually having a day that you can dedicate. Now, how it's going to work is each session is going to be between 30 and 45 minutes at the top of the hour. So you'll get a screen break from that. I'm going to be streaming it over on YouTube. So make sure that you're subscribed to YouTube, so at least you get the notifications when I go live. And if you can't join us live, then you can watch back up until the few days before it all disappears. There's so many topics we're going to cover. We're going to talk about optimizing your career opportunities, how to get the best from the day. So I'm actually going to set you up for success at the beginning. And this is all completely free. You just need to subscribe to the channel. You don't even need to give me your email addresses or anything else like that. So you can keep your anonymity and really, you know, carve forward in your career. We're going to talk about optimizing your career opportunities and how to do that with LinkedIn with one of my first guests, my very special guests. Then after that, I'm going to talk about how to expand your networks. One of the things that I find really interesting is when I speak to people who are looking for career progression within the actual organization they're in, they think of expanding their networks as going to networking meetings, and usually networking meetings outside of the company. You can tap in and create really strong networks from where you are, even if you've been working with people for 5 years or more. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to have a lunch break, and then for the 1 o'clock session, we're actually going to have a lunch and learn. And I'm going to talk about my most favorite topic, visibility, and how to utilize that to raise your profile, what those key pillars are, and things for you to tap into so that you've got actually something to take away that day and start to work on. Then we're going to be talking about visibility with impact. So how to really cause a ripple and create a ripple effect within your career, thus optimizing your career opportunities from where you are. And then after that, I'm going to have another great guest, who is going to be talking about beating burnout. This is one of the like afflictions of our modern times. They're going to be talking about different ways and tips to beat burnout. And I'm going to be asking them lots of questions as we go through again at that session. And then once you've done that, we're going to be having another session. And we're going to be talking about what happens if you're thinking of starting up something. So gone are the days where people stay in exactly the same role for like 50 years. They get their clock and off they go. It might be that you want to have a look at a career change within the organization that you're in, or it could be something else for you. So this guest, super special, really talented in this area of helping you to know how to prepare if that's something you're going to do and what to start thinking about. Then we're going to have a break, a little half an hour break, cup of tea and all of that, maybe afternoon tea. Although for people on the East timeline, it's going to be breakfast or late brunch, I think. But then after that, we're going to talk about self-care, how to take care of yourself as a busy professional. It can lead to burnout, but it's the reason why we're doing those two sessions separately. We don't want you to burn out because you're no good to yourself, no good to your family, no good to your employer, no good to your business if you are burning out or burnt out. And the thing that I've always said is, the most dangerous thing about burnout is people that are on the path to burnout often are the last to know. They don't even realize. So they don't do anything about it. They know that things don't feel right, but they often don't realize that they're on that slippery slope to burnout. And then the last segment, we're going to optimize your personal plan. So given the segments that we've had in the day, we're going to pull out pieces so that not everybody leaves with exactly the same, plan, but everybody leaves with a thing for them to do. So I'm really, really, really looking forward to that. And I would love you to come, love you to tell your friends, and I'd love to see you there. But before that, we've got another one of these next week. So if you have got questions when it comes to your own career, your own business, and the way that you want to really cultivate your own career, let me know. You can go over to my website, which is jennykovacs.com. Not only will you see some of the brilliant people I've worked with, you'll be able to contact me through my website, or send me a message if you're already connected with me somehow. Send me an email, and I will be more than happy to position one of these Tuesday tips around that. And guess what? You can keep your anonymity as well. I won't be saying Jenny Kovacs from London says, unless, of course, you'd like me to. So thank you so much for joining. Remember that you can watch back either on LinkedIn or here on YouTube. There's lots of different snippets on YouTube. And I realized last night one of my celebration shorts, very short video, has been watched over 500 times. That's just completely bonkers to me. But I appreciate you if you're one of the people that have looked at the shorts. But you'll find all sorts of playlists, all sorts of videos, resources, whether you're a business owner or whether you're a very busy professional, that you can watch at your viewing pleasure. And you don't even need a subscription for it. How cool is that? I can't wait to hear what you share. In the comments below, if you're willing to, do put one thing that you got from this that you're going to take forward. It could be something that you'd already known, but you're going to build on it. It could be something that you heard that felt new, and you're going to put that and implement that, put that in place quickly. It could be something that's going to help you go towards your goals, or something that you've now got kind of step by step that you can follow. Whatever it is, the reason I encourage you to share that is because there'll be somebody who has been watching this who feels stuck in some way, and your comment will actually open up their possibility, their opportunity, and help them to see differently. So thank you so, so much for watching. I can't wait to see what you share. And remember, if you post it on my YouTube channel, I'll be able to comment very, very quickly. If you post it on LinkedIn, I'll be playing catch up in September, which is already proving to be a very, very busy month. So like I say, I can't wait to see what you share. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing this video, and bye for now.